Mr. Lewis Pearce is our next inductee.
In September, back in 1984, Texas A&M University honored Lewis Pearce Jr. with a pavilion located on its campus. On a plaque outside that building, visitors find an inscription reading, "Horseman, Cattleman, Businessman, Civic Leader." These words resound the efforts of the man who has made an impact in several livestock organizations, including the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the AQHA, Texas and Southwestern cattle raisers, and of course, Texas A&M University. A rancher since the late 1930s, Pearce began his love affair with the Houston Livestock Show in 1938 with the simple purchase of a bull. By 1947, he had made himself a part of the show and has remained a fixture ever since, serving in several capacities, including chairman, officer, and president. Pearce has bred 342 registered American quarter horses, including Register of Merit earners both on the track and in the show ring, and horses such as Cutting Horse Sire Especial. He hasn't limited his involvement there. A past executive committee member, he served as an AQHA director from 1961 to 1978, served on several committees including the Public Information and Education and the Show and Contest committees. He also has held an AQHA judge's card. A lifetime director of the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association, Pearce is a longtime member of the National Cutting Horse Association and was inducted into their Hall of Fame in 1995. Though his alma mater is the University of Texas, Pearce has worked most closely with the Animal Science Department at Texas A&M University and has donated several horses to the department, including Eyes of Texas, a 3-bar stallion, and an AQHA champion. Standing tall on the grounds of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, visitors will find a life-size bronze statue of a young boy holding a calf looking up at the man on horseback. The resemblance to Pearce should not be uncanny. The man was modeled after him, and the entire statue was dedicated to him. Lewis Pearce Jr., the horseman, the cattleman, the businessman, the civic leader, and tonight, the 74th individual inducted into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame.
Here to accept is Mr. Lewis Pearce.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you didn't realize that a man just 40 years old could do all these things. Believe me, it is a real pleasure for me to be inducted the same night as my dear friend Jimmy Randall. Jimmy's paths and mine have crossed for many, many years, and we've been friends so long that I couldn't even repeat how many. I'm not going to introduce them all, but I've got a bunch of members of my family and friends sitting down here at table 8. I really got involved in the quarter horse business just about the time the registry was started. In the late 30s, I was a polo player at the University of Texas, and when I quit playing polo, I went into the Army, and I had some thoroughbred cross mares, and I bred them to a horse named Lucky Strike. And those were some of the first quarter horse foals I had. And then in 1942, just before I went overseas, I stopped by Jess Hankins' ranch in Rock Springs one Sunday, and I bought a mare from him, a 2-year-old filly. He had 3, and I asked him, I said, what do you want for those fillies? He said, well, if you take all 3, I'll sell them to you for $600. Well, I didn't have the $600. I said, what do you take for one? He said, I'll take $250. I said, okay, let me pick one. So I did, and that mare was really the start of whatever success that I've had in the quarter horse industry. Believe me, it's been a love affair on my part. I regret one thing in my life, that I was not able to completely fulfill my obligation to the AQHA when I was elected to the executive committee. It happened to come at a time in my life that I was president of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I had a business to run, and believe me, there just wasn't enough Lewis Pearce to go around. So I reluctantly had to resign. And there's a young man sitting right down here tonight that I had the privilege of talking to tonight, who was a very, very young lawyer at that time. His name was Barry. Stand up. And I served with him. But this is an award that I certainly never expected to get, one that I will certainly treasure. To Ginger Highland, the Executive Committee of the Board of Directors of this fine organization, thank you so very much for this wonderful honor. Thank you.